You stupid Meyer. Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Reacts. Corbin.
I'm Juthach.
You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, more juicy content. Thank you to research on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter account, subscribe, and hit the like button. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Guess what, everybody?
Your dreams were your ticket out. Guess what? You said guess what?
I did.
Oh. Today, we're doing a movie review.
That's what is to be guessed.
And we are doing a review of the new 2025 film. I think our first 2025 film. Even though
I know it's our first 2025 film. In fact, I'm looking at the list right now.
Also, I figure another reason why the numbers were a little lower, outside of it being two less, because we did two in the beginning, and then we did a series, which would have probably been like two films.
Yes.
I did a watch-along with Steph, but it was a rewatch. So that's another one off. That would have been added. And so it's like at least 6 films that we would have had.
Yeah, would have been for the time that was put in. And this is...
So we're not slacking.
No, not at all. This is... number 10 for the years thus far.
Nice. But we're doing the new 2025 film, The Mehta Boys.
The Mehta Boys.
About Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
And creating Facebook, I believe.
I think that's absolutely correct.
Is that what you came away with?
That's what I came away with, and I was just as upset as I was at the original occurrence. I don't know what that means.
I think it's the directorial debut.
I know it is.
Boman
Irani. Boman Irani. Boman's a barrel of fun.
He's gonna give you... Today, what? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But his directorial debut.
Yep.
And he was one of the writers, along with Alexander
Dinelalis.
Dinelalis, but also starring Boman Irani.
Yes.
And Avinash Tiwary.
Yes.
And Shreya Chowdhury.
Yes.
And it was a Amazon film.
Yep.
So if you haven't watched it,
it's on Amazon. Go watch it.
Come back.
Yep.
We'll do a little non-spoilers just because.
Yeah, since it's
a small film, not everybody has seen it.
We will do non-spoiler in the front.
And if we want to talk about spoilers, we will tell you before we do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Rick, your initial non-spoiler thoughts of The Mehta Boys.
Well,
thanks, Mark Zuckerberg.
The medal I need isn't here. Only 3 of the 4 are here. Oh well, I don't know where it is. I'm not going to waste my time with it, but for me it's a silver with a blue diamond.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was excellent. I'd see it again. The standouts for me are the direction of Boman, the acting of Boman, and the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the standouts for me. I really enjoyed it. It is absolutely worth a watch. The blue diamond part of it, and the thing for me that is worth the watching is it's really good storytelling. It's directed very well, and Boman is at his
Boman
best. I mean, I've always appreciated him. I know you have too. He's always done good work. This just shows you what a solid dramatic actor the man is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Everything. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
It was a nice feel-good movie.
Yep.
Even though obviously it was tackling like a very common story premise in Indian cinema of a father-son relationship, which is so unique and different from, not totally different. Obviously, father-son relationships are kind of almost universal, but everywhere has its own quirks and things that we've seen displayed about the father-son relationship in India's cinema specifically.
Yeah.
That wouldn't always be the case here, even though father-son relationship has been told throughout Hollywood, of ones that, full works
throughout history.
The standoffish father who, is just there for a stern handshake,
Right.
All that kind of stuff. But obviously Indian cinema brings its own flavor to it. I love this whole film. It was really heartfelt. It was funny.
Oh, had some really funny moments.
Really funny moments. Boman killed it. Just killed it. He did so well. Obviously, it's the only film I've seen this year, but he is leading the pack right now for actor. For the
Easy to say in a one-man race. Oh, look, he's out in front. No one else is running, Rick. Yeah, look at him go. He's going to win. There's nobody behind him yet.
Doesn't matter, though. Because I think obviously, we have a long year ahead of us, but I think it has sticking power because he did such a good job, such emotional depth to the character, to a partially very unlikable character at times.
Yeah.
In terms of like, to obviously his son specifically.
Sure.
To everyone else. And actually, it's funny enough, I have family members similar to him. Not in terms of like the standoffish to, like none of my fathers are that way at all. But like my grandfather, in terms of how he acts to everybody, he's such a charming man. He, a lot of the stuff that generation, and he showed it of like, they're so nice to women specifically, almost to the point of being slightly misogynistic.
Right.
But that's just, the generation.
The generation, right. Right.
They're usually not meaning to.
Right.
But it's just part of their generation and how they grew up. He was so sweet to his daughter and his wife, obviously, and his girlfriend or whatever she was. Sorry, I'm not trying to give anything away. He had a girlfriend. Sorry. But his whole performance, I felt for him. I was angry at him. But I understood both their perspectives. Obviously, the stronger performance would have been Boman's for sure. I think the other guy he did a fine job. Nowhere near as good as Boman,
which is the only reason it's not a gold for me.
Yeah.
It
didn't take me out of it.
It did not take me out of it. It's still an excellent film. I would still watch it again.
And I think
that was the only thing was if he had been as everything you said as Boman, that was the only thing for me that, and I don't feel like it's necessarily a fault. It just is.
Yeah.
You gotta. That is hard to pair off against.
He gave some really good moments.
He had good moments,
like the end moment and you can't say anything.
Yeah, there were just some things. There were some things with just overall some payoff moments where, as you could expect in a film like this, not giving anything away, there are going to be moments where your prime characters are going to be facing some things that are going to be pivotal, emotionally challenging for them, and it's going to require them as actors to tap into things that are pretty deep and pretty expressive. Comparatively, when you watched Bowman's work, it didn't hit where Boman was hitting for
Granted, Boman was the one that was able to be a little more eccentric because he knew who he was. This other guy's character was so beat down by the lack of love,
and a very different person. There was just who could I liken it to?
That's one of the things that a couple people in the film wanted him to be like, stand up for yourself, or whatever,
true,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was part of his character.
True.
But
it just the best, like the person who can nail those kinds of roles with the kind of emotional complexity that I'm referring to is a Raj Kumar Rao.
Oh yeah. That's
my only differentiation, and it's not even a. I don't want that to deter anybody from seeing it because it's a small thing in a largely really well-made film. One of my favorite things about it, we can get into the details in the spoiler, my favorite thing about this is both the writing and the directing, which is a credit to Boman and to Alexander Denilaris, is this film is so full of little things. You could watch it 2 or 3 times, and you're probably going to find little things, both in the script and in the shots that Boman chooses. So many small things that say so much. I kept making a list throughout. I'll get into it in the spoiler, but that's one of my favorite things about this movie is it's a film about little things and how little things are really big and can say It's the reason when I go visit someone's house, one of the things I look around at when I see their house is their books. It's a little thing, but the books tell me a lot about them. Sometimes it's not books they necessarily read all the way through, but it's books that matter to them, and that's the books that they want to have on display. That little thing means quite a bit. And the way their house is designed, especially if they built the house, is it bright? Does it have an open kitchen to the living room? Do they not like that? Where are they located in all of those little things? And this is a film about those little things.
Yeah. And I looked it up because it's not on IMDb. It looks like the cinematographer was
Krish Makija.
Fantastic. Yep. I don't know if Boman, I don't know him, Krish. But I would imagine Boman wanted an experienced cinematographer.
Sure.
And I would love to talk to Boman about picking that, being his directorial debut.
You bet.
If you've ever been on a film set, we've said it many times, like the most important relationship is usually the cinematographer or DP and the director. And that's why they normally
hand in glove
work together a lot.
Yeah.
They're constantly all like Nolan works with the same guy all the time. Quentin,
his whole team
always works
most of the
together.
time, but Nolan's entire team is the same people
because they work together well. But being at his directorial debut, I'd imagine he wanted a guy obviously he trusted, but that was maybe had been experienced because there was some great shots.
Great shots.
And setup shots, transition shots.
Yeah.
How he got from one shot and like where he started to where he ended.
And choice of
phenomenal.
shots. There are points where we're not just in close-up. Where face is more than frame. Yeah. I mean, we had some tight shots in this when people are saying something, and there's quite a bit of wonderful, this could be a play.
Yeah.
This could easily be a play. There's some monologues in this where Boman and Krish decided they're going to be so tight that you can't even fit their face doesn't fit the frame. It's like it's that close. And that's very requiring of an actor to be, camera doesn't lie.
Yeah.
It's going to pick up every little nuance of whether you're being fake or you're being believable. And that's, for me, I would watch this in a heartbeat for the little things, the great story, and watching Boman prove to everybody that he's an exceptional, he's not just a good actor. Mm-hmm. Boman Irani is an exceptional actor. And I wonder what spurred, how long had he been thinking about directing, and what was it that made this be, now I'm doing it? I'd love to know what it was that made him want to. Had he always had the thought of directing? Did he not, and it just occurred to him now with this project? Because that's sometimes people just all of a sudden they read something and their thought is, I'm doing this, but I got to direct it.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, shout out to hair and makeup. Bowman doesn't look that old.
No. They made him look much older than he is.
Bowman looks great.
Yeah.
For like whatever, I don't know what age he is.
Yeah.
But I saw like a video on Instagram because I follow him of him doing like an interview. He looks young.
Yeah.
And spry.
I'm pretty sure he's only 66.
Yeah.
67, and he's supposed to be a character 10, not only 10 years his elder, but not in really good health.
No.
No.
So I don't know if a lot of it was prosthetics or if it was just makeup work or what it was.
Well, and he did some homework because he embodied throughout. There's not a false moment. There's not a contradictory moment. You believe he's dealing with a body that's as old as it's supposed to be every moment of the film.
Yeah. I do want to get into some spoilers, so definitely go watch it.
This is spoiler time.
Fantastic.
Go watch it. It deserves to be watched.
Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Feel good kind of movie.
Yeah.
So go watch it.
Please.
And come back once you've seen it. We were getting into spoilers. Spoil!
It's time to get spoiled now.
Oh, I slap you. Oh, you like being spoiled? Do you, you little stupid baby?
You looking for the cue, though, aren't you? I can hear it in my mind.
Ew.
Korbins sucks!
Wow. Ooh, I'm disgusted.
Bing bong. Get spoiled, bitch.
There it is.
Get spoiled, bitch.
There it is.
We got there.
Spoiler time.
Yeah, and the end was so interesting. I probably appreciated it a lot more now. When the son says, I realize what you were doing now. Like if we saw us like the first year or something, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I think you're being gaslighted into thinking his bad parenting was somehow good. Knowing what I know now, seeing everything, talking to so many people, it's just how the relationship a lot of times for Indians and their fathers are. Not all of them, obviously. Hopefully a lot of them are actually good. But like a lot of people will resonate with this style of relationship.
Yeah.
And the father being like, I only give you handshakes. I only love you. Like, I'm not going to show you affection because I'm going to prepare you for the real world.
Yeah.
And
But-
it's a thing that a lot of people do. And I'm just, do I still think it's bad parenting? I absolutely do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it not true.
The first little thing I noticed that I wrote down, and then I just kept track of them while I was watching because I loved it so much. I loved the little things so much. When he does that handshake to him at mom's funeral, it's in a group of people. And it was more than just we have a handshake relationship, not a hug and kiss relationship. It really conveyed in a moment, it conveyed the years of distance between. I knew instantly in that moment, these men have been distanced with each other since this guy was a kid. It was more than just the obvious distance that happens in those moments when a dad says, "Nope, you're a man now." It was even deeper than that. It was, you're so far removed from me that you're no different than these acquaintances. And I went, okay, yeah, we got deep. And then all of these other little things that kept happening. It became a big thing, but I thought it was going to be really small when he looked down and saw his hand on the emergency brake.
Yeah.
Because that spoke volumes about how much he doesn't trust his son. And then everything, I love that when we first go into his son's apartment, everything is disheveled except his closet. The closet's immaculate.
Yeah.
Because that's his work life. That's the one area of his life that he's got a focus on. But it's weird because it's incongruent, just like his house.
Yep.
Because even though he has this internal sense of, yes, I know that this is important to me, at work, did you get frustrated? I got so frustrated with him, just like his boss. When his boss said, "I don't know why I pay you."
Yeah.
I mean, because his boss is ready to.
Guy did a good job.
He did. His boss is ready to cheer him on. Everybody's ready to cheer him on. And Boman and
you have to take it yourself.
they did a great job of dragging that on so long that I thought, we may not see this guy. Wow, we may not actually see this guy change, which would be real. Yeah. But I love that. And then other little things that happened were, I loved the filling of the rain bucket because it conveyed the passage of time.
Yeah.
And I really, if you look at the pictures in his son's place, even the photos he has up are lonely. Each of the pictures are an image of something that just looks isolated and alone. And it conveyed, that's production design, that's Boman directing everybody and saying, look, everything we do with him needs to convey this sense of feeling alone, unappreciated, and that's even to himself, that the lack of love he got from his dad is affecting every area of his life. And if he just could see himself the way everybody else sees him, and even the way his dad really does see him, the complexity of that humanity was one of my favorite things of the film.
And a couple of the other actors, the girlfriend, I thought did a really good job.
Really
I really
good
liked
job.
her. She did a good job in believing her character and believing her wanting to be with him. But like, I need you to take charge of something in your life and not feel just like a sad little victim.
Yep.
I need you to take that step. The sister as well.
She was wonderful.
Role, she came in and made a powerful performance there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Loved her in her role.
A small little.
She did a great job.
And I wanted to actually talk about that break moment because originally, and I still see it as partially that of him not trusting.
The hand on the brake.
But I don't know if that was fully it.
It was part of it.
Yeah, I think in the end I came to the realization. I think it was more about he wants to protect him. At all costs.
So the first image we get of that, Boman wants us to believe the son's perspective of dad doesn't trust me.
Yeah.
But as you grow with the story and you see both sides of the issue, you recognize, Dad doesn't trust him, but it's also, if you look at it another way, he's protecting his kid.
Yep. And then obviously at the end when she grabbed it and said, "I'm here now." I was actually surprised that the dad didn't, like a normal Indian film, the dad would have stayed.
Right.
No, Dad, why don't you stay here with me? It didn't happen.
No.
So I was like, that's interesting.
I also believed my heart wanted a sloppy wet kiss and big hug goodbye. But the believability factor, it was very real.
Yeah. And the fact that in this relationship that they were conveying, like, they didn't need to have like a full redemption arc for the dad. You're just like, some dads are just like this.
Yeah.
Like, obviously we can try to understand why they're doing it, but that doesn't mean they're going to change, really.
Which is one of the probably biggest points in, I think, any child's life is when, I know this happened for me with both my parents, especially for my mom, where you go from a very justifiable looking at the things your parent failed at. You become an adult and you realize, as an adult, my parent's an adult, and here's what I would have done differently, and you don't understand maybe. And then you get to this place where you go, oh, now that I've lived like an adult long enough, I kind of have more empathy. I now see, maybe I wouldn't have done it that way, but who knows? And you begin to see things more from their perspective. Even if you don't agree with it, you get a little more empathy for them.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit more just forgiving of the fact that, okay, so they're never going to be the way I want them to be. Was that fair of me to expect that of them? If I really look at the full picture of who they are, they not...
Yeah.
Is my dad, is Boman trying to be the best he can be? And maybe the things I thought were bad toward me were the only way, that's his only love language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fine line of, like, because I firmly believe if somebody's treating you wrong, you should call them on it and talk about it. I'm not one that's just like, wow, that's just them.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am. But obviously it's a fine line of, like, certain things, not everything, not like Big B and K3G.
Right.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
But certain things you have to kind of grow to understand each other.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will. Obviously, the old people are really stubborn sometimes. So you can't always get through to them.
Yep.
But also, did you notice that he ended up giving the sorry to the girl in the end?
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't say it.
No.
They're just like, I don't know if you noticed
I
this. Like, they didn't say it in the film. It was just like,
Yes.
he gave her the sorry.
Oh.
His mom's sorry. Or his wife's sorry.
There's another moment. This is a Boman moment. It's one of my favorite moments. So there's two. They kind of bookend one another. I got emotional from the moment he thinks he sees his dead wife because of the hair thing. And he starts telling his son, maybe, she's talking to us, which is so common. I loved when they get in the elevator and the woman gets in with the same thing in her hair, and Boman looks at his son and he gestures like, look. But Boman chose to have the woman look straight into camera and give us a little smile, as if to say, maybe I am his dead. Maybe his dead wife is around looking out for him and the other ladies that he sees in his life. I love that. Love that moment.
Yeah, there's so much about that. I really, really enjoyed it. If I did give medals, I would give it more than a silver.
It was just, for me,
because
the elevative nature of all those things we're talking about. The son, I felt, did a good job where I wanted there to be that up there with Boman. And you agreed at the outset that too for you was
But it didn't. I agree that the one performance was way stronger than the other.
It's like the movie. You haven't seen this movie, but it's like the international film from Denmark called "The Girl with the Needle." Please watch it. You can rent it on Apple or Amazon. One of the best films I've seen since the Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's two women. Both of them, mind-boggling performances. If one of them hadn't been equal to the other, it would have suffered. The film would have suffered. But because they were both jaw-droppingly believable and wonderful and incarnating of this, it's two of the best acting performances, male-female, I've seen in a long, long time. That's the differentiation for me that is just and it is what it is.
Anyways,
you'll probably disagree with me.
That's fine. Rick's an idiot.
There
We
you
all
go.
know it.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, it's phenomenal. Really, really enjoyed the movie.
Phenomenal.
My favorite Indian movie of 2025 so far.
By far, and the leader of all, nominated for everything right now for the dummies. There's not even a close second.
But also, I'm kidding, but also not really, because I could see this sticking around, because this will stick with me for the whole year, regardless of if it ends up being my favorite or not. I really, really enjoyed this film, and it gave me such a nice feeling. Stephanie cried multiple times.
It's without question. I loved him in a lot of things, but if people really want to see how good of an actor Boman Irani is,
he's so good.
Right there.
Anyways, let us know what you thought about it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, what your thoughts on it are, and anything else we need to know down below.